Welcome to section 1.2, Graphs for Categorical Data. In this lesson, we'll explore how to take data that falls into categories and display it visually using pie charts and bar charts. Once we have data, the next step is to make sense of it. Graphs help us see patterns, spot differences, and communicate our findings more clearly than tables or raw numbers alone. Categorical data is data that falls into groups or labels, not numbers. Examples include things like favorite color, political affiliation, or class standing. We can summarize how often each category occurs to get an overview of the data. There are three main ways to describe how often a category appears: frequency, relative frequency, and percent. Frequency is just the count. Relative frequency is the proportion, or the count divided by the total. Percent is simply the relative frequency times 100. When organizing data into categories, each value should go into only one category, and every value should have a category it belongs to. These rules help keep our summaries clean and meaningful. There are two main types of graphs we use to show categorical data: the pie chart and the bar chart. Pie charts show parts of a whole, while bar charts show how many times each category occurred. Both are valid, but bar charts tend to be clearer, especially when there are more categories. Here's an example. In a survey of 400 school administrators, participants rated the quality of U.S. education. We can use those frequencies to calculate percentages and create a pie chart where each slice represents a different rating. The size of each slice is based on the proportion of total responses. All right, let's walk through how to create both a pie chart and a bar chart in Excel using this real data we see on the screen here. All right, so let's go over to Excel. So first, we'll select the rating and frequency columns and insert a 2D pie chart. So we're just going to select that data. And we're going to go over to Insert. I got to enable editing. I should have done that before video. Okay, there we go. We're going to go over to Insert. And here are our recommended charts. Notice the pie chart's right here. We just want to do a simple 2D pie chart. Notice how each slice shows the proportion of total responses. So we can now adjust the chart title just by clicking right up here and double clicking, and let's label this U.S. Education Ratings chart. We don't need a, okay, U.S. Education Ratings. And then we can right click, and right over here, we can add the data labels, and that'll put the counts on there for us. We can also format the data labels to show the percentage, or you can use the percent column as a guide. So here's our complete pie chart in Excel. Okay, now we can use the same data to create a bar chart. Each bar represents one rating category, and the height shows how many people gave that response. This type of graph makes it easy to compare one category to another. Bar charts are great for directly comparing category frequencies. In practice, bar charts are often clearer than pie charts, especially when there are many categories or similar values. All right, so let's go back to, go back to Excel. Let's move our pie chart to the side. And we are going to highlight the same two columns again, rating and frequency. And we're going to go over to insert one more time. And here's our bar charts right up here. So we can just do a 2D column like so. Or we could do a clustered column or other options that are available here, right? So again, we want to adjust this to title US Education Ratings. Click out here. We're going to add our data labels. And we also want to add access titles. Perfect. So here, this is just the count. So we will label this one frequency. And down here, these are our rating titles. So we would label this as like rating. Now, notice also, I can click on the individual bars. Let's say I wanted them all to be different colors. Or I wanted only the one to be a different color to draw attention to it for some reason, right? I would have to do them each individually, or I can highlight the whole series like here and change them all at one time to a different color. Okay, so I can do it with the series, or I can do it individually. Deselect that and just look at the single bar. And it'll allow me to click, change just that one. Okay, let's go back to our, there we go. Okay, so pie charts emphasize how the categories relate to the whole, while bar charts emphasize comparison between categories. We're going to use pie charts when we want to show parts of a whole, and bar charts when we want to compare category sizes directly. All right, let's try this with another example. Suppose we have a bag of M&Ms, and suppose we count how many of each color we have. We could create a bar chart or a pie chart from this data. Okay, go ahead and pause the video here and try it in Excel using the data that you see on the screen. And then resume the video when you're ready for a walkthrough, and I'll show you how to do it exactly on Excel. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look, right? We have counted these values into Excel. So let's go over to this tab. I've already put the categories in here for us. And filled in the bar chart data. All right, so again, we're going to highlight the color and frequency columns, insert bar chart. We're going to change this title to candy color distribution. Now, I'm also going to do the same thing I did before of adding my access titles, data labels. Actually, I don't need the data labels since these are all very readable what the values are, but we do need the access title. So this would be the number of candies, since it's a frequency. It's just a count of the candies. And this would be the different candy color. Whoops. All right, now I want to show you a few other things here. Notice that this, if I go to data, I can highlight the entire table. And my sort is right here. I can sort from biggest to smallest or from whatever, but I can sort on different values. So if I want to sort from highest to lowest, it's going off of the first column, the color, right? If I instead do sort and I want to do custom sort, I can sort by frequency, smallest to largest, or however I want to do it. Now, the relative frequency, by the way, how these numbers were calculated. If I add up all of the values that are in this column, so I can do that with the sum command, sum A2 to A7. I said A, we're in column B. B2 to B7. It tells me I sampled 21 candies. So this is just B2 divided by, and then if you use the $sign, it keeps that value static. So we want to divide by B and then keep the cell static, 8. And that's our frequency value. So notice if I just do this, it fills all of the formulas in there, and that's how we calculated the relative frequency. We're just dividing this number by the total. So 6 divided by 21 is this 0.28571. Now to get the percent, we just go C2 times 100. And again, we can fill that in all the way across, right? Now to get the chart angle, there are 360 degrees in a circle. So we're multiplying the number of degrees in a circle by the percentage of the circle. So we'll just take the relative frequency value, C2, and multiply by how many degrees there are in a circle. And that's where we're getting the 17.14. So again, notice if I do that for all these values, they stay the same. That would tell me in my pie chart. So let's fill out the pie chart for these guys right here. So insert pie chart. Oops. What did I do? Oh, I have one too many there. Just these values. There we go. Insert pie chart. So what this is saying is the smallest category here has a 17-degree angle right here. Whereas the biggest category, 6, has a 102-degree angle right here. Okay. Now, the other thing, notice that when I do my pie chart, my red is blue. That would not be what I would want to do. So besides changing the title and adding the legend on, I might want to change that fill, right? So I'd select just that circle, go in and change the fill to maybe red so it actually matches the color, right? So standard color, there's a red. And then I could do that for each of these, yellow, orange, green, and blue, so on. Okay, so that's how I would go about making it look very, very pretty. Okay. All right, let's go back to our discussion here. Okay, so to summarize, categorical variables fall into groups, and we can summarize them using frequencies, percentages, and 2 main types of charts. Pie charts help show part to whole relationships, while bar charts are best for comparing categories. In the next section, we're going to move on to graphical displays for numerical data.